Hey, welcome to the Magical Magikarp. When people talk about Pokemon collecting, the conversation usually starts with trading cards. Though cards are a major part of the hobby, they're not the only way to build a collection that feels personal and yet meaningful. And on the card side specifically, it can be genuinely difficult to find products at MSRP. Especially when resale activity, scalping, and automated buying makes availability so inconsistent. So this series isn't about replacing cards. No, not at all. It's about widening the hobby, widening your collecting aperture, so that collecting can still feel accessible and enjoyable. Welcome to Beyond the Cards. This series is about other parts of Pokemon collecting, things that reflect the franchise's art, history, and culture beyond the TCG. And the timing's perfect because 2026 is the year of Pokemon. It's the 30th anniversary, and they're treating it like a full year celebration. They kicked it off with Super Bowl 60, What's Your Favorite? Which is basically a big reminder that Pokemon is ultimately about the characters and the connection fans have with them. So in this episode, I'm giving a quick overview of 7 ways to collect Pokemon without focusing on cards. Then, in future episodes, we're gonna dive deeper into each of these categories. One of the best parts of collecting is that it can reflect what you actually like. Your favorite generation, a favorite game in the series, a favorite Pokemon, an art style, whatever it may be. And these categories open up in different ways to display a collection, whether it's a shelf, a desk setup, or something on the wall. The goal here isn't to replace the cards. It's to show that Pokemon collecting can go in a lot of different directions, and the best direction is the one that matches what you genuinely enjoy.
When you touch an item that sparks joy, your body would respond this way. On the contrary, when you touch an item which does not spark joy, you would feel.
So number 1, print collectibles. This includes magazines, guidebooks, instruction manuals, and other Pokemon publications. Print is interesting because it captures a specific era, art direction, a layout, promotional material, and how Pokemon was presented at the time. It's also a category where you can literally see the franchise evolve across generations, kind of like a Pokemon. And in the 30th anniversary year, you're getting even more mainstream releases that fit right into this category, like Time Magazine's special edition, Pokemon 30 Years of Pikachu. Print is one of the best categories if you like collecting Pokemon history and not just Pokemon or Pokemon items. Numero 2, Pokemon art. This can include prints, posters, canvases, and custom artwork. Art is one of the most display-forward categories, and it's also one of the easiest to personalize. A collection can be built around a favorite Pokemon, a type theme, a region, a specific art style. None of these have to be official. A lot of artists in the community have taken it upon themselves to share their art. If you want your collection to feel personal at a glance, art is one of the fastest ways to do that. And third, plushies. Plushies are fantastic because they combine character with decor. They work well on shelves, desks, cars, larger display spaces, and they're instantly recognizable. They're also flexible. Some other collectors keep it focused, like favorite Pokemon, while others collect by generation or Pokemon type or specific plush lines. A great example are the Pokemon Center exclusives from Japan. Plushies are a great category because if you want a collection that feels warm, recognizable, and easy to display, then you're in the right category. And number 4, figures and statues. This category ranges from small desk figures to larger centerpieces. Figures are great options, especially if you like curated displays, because they can be arranged in themes or scenes. You can make your own scene, and they tend to present really well on the shelves. So if you really care about presentation, figures are the way to go for a very display-friendly way to collect. Pins and keychains. These are smaller collectibles, but they can still be displayed in a clean way, on boards, on stands, on your bag, and they could be rotated over time. This category is also easy to theme. which makes it a strong option for collectors who like to keep things, glued together and organized. So if you like smaller items and not talking about stuff like trading cards, which can really break the bank, pins and keychains are a really flexible way to go. And here's one of my favorites, number 6, games and physical media. This includes the games, the cases that the games are in, the manuals, strategy guides. Remember strategy guides before the internet?
Pepperidge Farm remembers.
This category is tied directly to personal Pokemon experiences, especially if you spent hours and hours on the Game Boy back when it was first released. It's a strong option if you want your collection to reflect the games and the eras that meant the most to you. So if you really want your collection to reflect your personal Pokemon journey, games and related media tend to do better than almost anything in this video. Now for the big kahuna, vintage Pokemon merchandise. This can include older toys, accessories, era-specific items, and discontinued merchandise. And if you hold any of this stuff long enough, it will become vintage Pokemon merchandise. A lot of Pokemon collectors enjoy vintage merch because it's unique and often harder to find. And it can add real personality to a collection, especially if you enjoy a side of Pokemon history. If you're really drawn to uniqueness and history, vintage merch is where collections start to feel really personal. So there you go. There are 7 ways to collect Pokemon beyond trading cards. The main takeaway is that Pokemon collecting can go in a lot of different directions, and the best direction is the one that matches what you genuinely enjoy. And with Pokemon's 30th anniversary being celebrated this year, with a year-long campaign already underway, it's a good time to look beyond the usual entry points and build a collection that reflects what you actually love about the franchise. In episode 2, we're going to focus on print collectibles. We're going to take a deeper dive into magazines, guidebooks, manuals, and what makes these things worth collecting. So thank you for watching. I really hope you picked something out of this video that you learned or really enjoyed. Hit the like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.